Welcome to Disc Golf Hot Takes, where the takes are hot and the rakes are on sale.
What? I don't know. No.
Rakes?
What?
The rakes.
It is fall. Is it a fire sale?
It's because it's fall. I bought a rake over the weekend. I need it because leaves are everywhere.
Was it on sale?
Everything will rhyme with ache. So,
well, you hate to see it, but I
I
do respect it.
Get ready for it.
Is that your hot take?
Everything will rhyme with ache. All right, so here we go. So we have a disc golf hot take and we have a non-disc golf hot take. We're going to start with the disc golf one. Yeah. You ready? You guys ready for it?
Yes.
Are you ready for it?
So, in watching, and I've seen this sentiment on Facebook and Reddit and social media, but as disc golf gets bigger and bigger and in front of more and new eyes, right, disc golf tends to look easy. You've got all these low scores, people making birdies left and right. I think disc golf should be harder. Either we should change par, adjust par, or we just need to make these courses harder.
Okay, so every course.
No, my point is right. We're just moving on to the next one.
That's it. Okay.
Quickest hot take of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
You cannot prove this wrong.
Okay, so every course or just championship tournament courses? Your choice.
Well, if my point is about the eyes and people discovering it, then I think it needs to at least, the very least, start with courses that we know are going to be seen by viewers.
I think this is a top-down thing. I think, like you said, start with the top-level courses and then start progressing. Your park-style courses, add 50 feet here, plant a few trees there, and then work your way so that everything eventually becomes harder and harder.
That said, the beginner-friendly courses are a must. You have to have those super
but I'm
easy
saying you should have
Hammond Park style.
Yeah, there should be one of those in town, and we should have 3 country clubs instead of one.
Dang.
Instead of how many Hammonds do we have? 3 Hammonds, kind of some in betweens, and 1 country club. Mm-hmm. I think we need to weight that towards the difficult, towards that higher end of the spectrum.
Okay. So, I just want to make sure that I understand correctly. So why is it so bad that it looks easy? Do you think that somebody watches disc golf for the first time, right? And they see, hey, the winner from this weekend was 40 under par over 4 rounds. And they're used to seeing golf where double digits for a weekend is good, like period. Do you think that's enough to keep them from playing? Like, is that the thing keeping them from playing?
I think. Well, okay, so
legitimacy. I think
Yes,
is
legitimacy. That's the word right there.
It's almost as like if that game's so easy that if we're going to call ourselves a sport, then there needs to be like the competition. And if you're getting these super low scores, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of sports ability and competing and things like that. And so, do I think people will stop from wanting to play? Maybe not, but they're interested in watching it and seeing the best of the best. If they're just going to be dropping these low scores, it isn't going to be as enticing.
Is it the scores or is it the fact that these guys are just good?
Yeah,
because changing par isn't going to change the fact that these guys are good.
I think it's that the players have outgrown our courses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone,
maybe not just our players, but this technology.
Sure,
as well.
the game has evolved past the sport. The skill level, the disc technology, this, that, and the other has gotten it to a point where our top level players are now they're not being challenged as much as they could and should be. Mm-hmm. If I'll relate to another sport, if everyone hit a home run every time they walked up to the plate, home runs are no longer special. If the winner finishes at 40 under par, that's no longer special. Like Robert said, double digits under par is good in a weekend of golf. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where we expect the leaders to be after one round in a disc golf tournament.
It's almost as if the evolution of the courses has not kept up with the evolution of the player.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But this is the same thing golf is facing. They have different ways to make the courses more difficult than we do, right? Mm-hmm. So in golf, when they play the U.S. Open,
do they call them peppers instead of mozzarella sticks? They call them cheddar peppers.
Yeah. They put them right around the basket, or right around the hole.
Spicy.
Yeah. God, those things. Anyway,
Sorry,
that's a different story for a different time. But like, the superintendent at the course they played the U.S. Open at this year said if anyone finished under par, then he would quit his job because they tried to make the course that difficult. Problem, there exists a person named Bryson DeChambeau who drives the ball super duper far, even into this extremely thick rough, and then just hacks it out of there with a wedge because he's close enough to get up by the green, and then he putts pretty well. So he finished at 6 under par, which was, I mean, miraculous.
So he quit his job.
Based on the setup. Yeah.
So
and
he's
then
looking
he
for a
decided
job.
to make golf his job at that point.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding. He's a professional golfer.
No, I meant the
Oh,
the
yes, the
designer.
super.
Yeah.
The super. I hope. I
That's
hope
who
he
we're
did.
going to get to redo all of our courses.
That is
nobody
correct.
finishes
That is
under
correct.
par.
What did they do to make it harder?
So they tighten the fairways a lot, and they grow the rough super tall, like 5 inches of grass in the rough,
Yeah.
which normally
thinner
is not,
fairways.
Yes,
So why do the professional? And I'm sorry to
That's
take
good.
you on a different
No,
tangent.
I'm interested.
Why do I hear? Because I hear it out there filming and taking photos. I hear it from the top pros how they gripe about unfair fairways.
Sure.
That's the thing. How do you change it? How do you make it more difficult on the disc golf side of things if you don't have the terrain to do so?
That's what I was just
artificial
about to say.
OB, and then
Yes.
people
Then
complain,
they
about
complain.
that.
That's what I was just
know?
about to
Yeah,
say.
fair.
Is that in golf they have opportunities to do that. We don't have the same design elements to do that in disc golf unless we make them artificial, like the breadsticks at USDGC, and you know how everybody feels about those poorly. So,
Except
I think
Arby's.
except Arby's.
Some Arby's, yeah.
Yeah, because mozzarella sticks, and they get to be Anyway,
Ranch.
for me, it's really difficult to say we should make courses more difficult artificially. I hate that idea. I don't mind making them more difficult because, like, I don't know, like Alex Russell at the USDGC this year shot a 15. The course was set up a lot softer. I didn't play it, but it was set up softer than it has been in years past. But man, 15. Josh Anthon shot that several years ago, and it was like unheard of to be that low. And we had quite a few people who kind of flirted with that this year, at least double digits. So I understand what you're saying. It makes it look less difficult, but I don't think the way to fix disc golf is to make it more difficult necessarily.
Well, there's a fine line between making it more difficult and making it unfair
Impossible.
as well.
I'm
like
with-
thick
I'm with you
woods,
on that.
lots of trees.
I think you can have woods and still be fair. The course they just
Of
played at the
course.
Pro Tour Championships. I
Absolutely.
didn't see anyone say that course was unfair.
Absolutely.
I think people did.
Maybe I just didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you just saw the best of the best.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're talking about right now. That's where it
Sure.
starts, right?
Yeah.
That's
No.
where people want to get to.
And I never said that the Hornet's Nest is not fair, but
Sure.
a lot of wooded courses are unfair.
sure. Yeah, because one out there
and that's
isn't.
that's the
yeah.
other side of things. The more we grow, the harder it is to get thousands of people down the fairway for galleries.
Yeah.
Also, so it's kind of like
Do we care about the thousands of people in the galleries or the hopefully millions of people on their couch?
I mean, that's a
I
whole
see
nother
your
How
debate.
many, how
point,
many people
but-
fit into Arrowhead Stadium versus how many people watched the Super Bowl?
Depends.
Well, I don't
Is
know.
the
Same
Super Bowl
amount.
at Arrowhead Stadium?
No, but the Chiefs
It
played.
could be.
So okay, wherever it
amount.
was in the
was in
Metrodome or
Florida.
wherever
Yeah.
in Florida.
Same
sure.
amount, 100,000 of both.
Oh, that's it.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same.
I hear what you're saying, and I understand it, but I just disagree. I don't think that that's the thing that's keeping people from playing disc golf.
I don't think that's what's keeping people from playing. I think, like Eric said, that's what's keeping it from being legitimate. People look at golf and be like, "Wow, he shot 6 under. That's insane."
Yeah.
And look at disc golf and Paul Macbeth won, and he shot an 86 under par for the weekend. Like, oh, okay, so that
Not at
game's
the
just
GBO.
easy. Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, 86 is absurd.
No. Yeah.
I think it just is what it keeps it from, like Eric said, being
Legitimate.
legitimate in the eyes of someone who's just
Yeah.
a random guy.
We're limited by the design aspects that we have, though, right? We can't because discs fly in the air into a certain size basket. Like we can make the basket smaller, that's fine. But golf putting is difficult because you can grow different grains. That you can be putting into the grain or away from the grain. There can be different hills that make the ball do different things on the green. We don't really have those elements that we can just put in somewhere.
What if we
they're
put the-
either there or they're not?
We could put the cage in the ground, and you have to roll your
Okay,
putt.
I'm interested.
That way
been
the
done.
grains.
You switch
Poorly.
to a golf ball and a putter, and that's how you finish
Okay,
the hole.
Robert. So how about? Well, go ahead, Bob.
No, you go ahead.
What about hole 16 at Peter Pan, the long one with the river along the right-hand side?
Right, yep.
They planted 15 trees
Mm-hmm.
there. 2 years ago, that was just a wide open throw as far as you can. Now you have to throw it to the left. Once those trees get another 2 years in them,
Right.
those trees weren't there. Those were put there. Now that's a harder hole.
Okay.
We could put dirt and make a big mound or make it an uphill shot or whatever.
Sure.
So I think saying that we can't do that is a short-sighted answer. We can't do that and make
Maybe
GBO
we're
harder
limited.
next year.
Right.
But GBO 2030, if the country club let us go through and plant 1,200 trees on the course,
Spoiler alert.
Easy.
not going to
Okay.
happen.
Easy. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Look, I can get on board with a lot of things that you're saying, but helping the environment by planting trees, that's where that crosses the line for
Okay,
me.
well, we can burn other trees. We can
Can
cut
we
other
cut
trees
down other trees to make
we'll,
up for
We'll
it?
leave our cars
We'll
running
just
the whole time.
concrete trees in the ground.
Yes.
We'll cut them down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Concrete
them in the ground.
pillars,
Thank you.
and we'll paint them to
this-
look like trees.
This is the sort of progress that I signed up for. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all I have to say.
I told
about
Jeremy,
it.
will we destroy the world? I'm in.
Yes. Then I'm interested.
Then
Will
I'm
it make disc
interested.
golf harder at the same time? I'm more interested.
It's also it is also kind of a challenge because a lot of the things that you just mentioned, like planting a bunch of trees, that's not cheap. You know,
Yeah,
that,
you
that
can't
money's
just- you
got to
can't just
come
do
from
it anywhere.
somewhere. And a lot of our courses right now are in public parks, so you got to go through this whole long laundry list of
Bureaucracy.
sure to get all of these approved and make all that happen. Now, some private courses are a little bit different, but funding I think is a big part of it. And I'm all for making courses harder, but I'm not for doing it the artificial OBs and all that. I'm all for if the land allows it, 100%. Let's make it as hard as we possibly can.
Yeah, and for me, there's some courses that
If players are coming off the course and not cursing my name, I haven't done my job.
right. Yeah. You sound like the super from that U.S. Open course. I think there's some courses that you need to know players are going to shred. That's just how it's going to be, and just be okay with that because it's not every course, it's not every championship, but to just make something artificially difficult, I don't like that. I don't think that's the answer personally.
So there's no hope for disc golf.
All that to say, disc golf is done for. Nobody's
if
gonna
Robert's
play
in
it
charge,
anymore.
so is the planet.
That's right. No. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Take out all trees and move them to the disc golf courses.
So we agree. Okay, so back to the hot take though. Do we agree that disc golf should be?
I wouldn't
appear
mind it.
harder.
I wouldn't mind it being more difficult, but I just don't think that's the thing that's keeping us from being
The
legitimate.
courses.
That's what you don't think are keeping people from playing.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I got you. Okay.
Okay, great.
Fair enough. All right. So another thing we like to do on the hot takes is discuss something that's not related to disc golf because we enjoy arguing.
Frisbee golf.
Yes. we do
Super
it
class events.
For the sake of fighting.
for the sake of fun. I mean, every time I come to work, it's an argument after argument, and a thought came to me: why not record all this?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is actually what we do all day is just sit here and argue.
It's really not.
No, it is.
Jeremy, if you're listening, it's not. Okay.
All right, here we go. Now, this one could ruffle some feathers.
Okay.
Oh, good.
True altruism doesn't exist. By the way, this is a listener submitted one, so thank you for submitting this. It is impossible for anyone to intentionally act in a manner that does not ultimately benefit themselves in some way.
Is
Right.
that it?
So altruism defined is doing something totally for the benefit of somebody else,
Right.
not for yourself. That's what altruism means.
And when I read this, I thought, whoa. And because of where I am involved in and what
Science.
because of what I do, I'm constantly on social media. And my first thought was social media makes this a true statement.
Okay.
Or contributes to this being a true statement.
Sure.
Because I'm guilty of it. I post when I go to the gym. Now that's not, I mean, it doesn't help. It doesn't help the world.
But I get what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is like we post things to show that we are a good person. And we have, and then, I mean, I've even seen some gotcha videos where big time influencers have gotten caught faking doing good stuff
Right.
for
Giving stuff to the
giving
homeless
stuff
or something
or showing up at a Habitat for Humanity and say, oh, take my picture real quick of me putting this nail in, and then once the
Just
picture's done,
leaving.
they leave.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Eric
I think
does that all the time.
Guilty.
Yeah, what the heck, Eric?
yeah, he never goes fishing. He just
I don't
grabs a fish.
hammer it though. I
It's
just
the same fish in every picture. Look into it.
It is. You're not wrong.
Camera tricks, I'll tell you.
So I believe, unfortunately, social media has made this statement more true than it's ever been, or than it can be, or just
Man.
more true.
I disagree. I'm
are
with
you saying
you
that
about
there's-
social media. I agree that because of social media, it's more difficult to do this. But I don't think just because that stuff gets shown on social media doesn't mean that good things are done by people outside of social media that aren't posted about that they do just because they're trying to do something good for somebody, right? Eric has a lot of discs, very, very many. And Anthony is like, hey, man, I just lost my favorite EMAC Truth. So the next day, Eric brings an EMAC Truth to Anthony and hands it to him. And Anthony's like, thanks. And Eric's like, no problem.
Truth. That happened.
It's going to happen.
But not with Anthony. It
No,
happened with
yeah.
somebody else.
I'm
actually.
telling the future.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, wait.
Which one do I lose?
Wait, yeah.
right.
Okay. In that scenario for me, I guess you could say Eric was doing that just so that Anthony would think, oh yeah, he's a nice guy. But what if he wasn't? What if he was just like, I have this, Anthony doesn't, I give it to him. It's a zero-sum game. He didn't have something, now he has something, I don't, we're all good. That's totally fine. I think that it's possible for people to do good things without any need for reciprocation, without any need for recognition. I think that has to be possible, or else I believe even less in the human race than I currently do. You know, that's where I'm at on it.
How are we supposed to know? They need to post about it.
But see, that's the thing. Is like, do you post about
Are you
every
gonna
good
post
thing
about
that you?
it when I give?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
We're good.
Yeah. Do you post about every good thing that you do? Like, when you give food to somebody on the side of the road, do you stop and be like, yeah, hey, guess what?
Let me take your picture. real quick.
Just gave this guy food. Let's take a selfie together. No, I mean some people do.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, but I think there are people that don't, who just give it to him because they see somebody in need.
Good deeds, because it makes the reason I do things like that when I give Emacs away at every course I've designed or anything like that. I don't do it for recognition.
Right.
I do it because it makes me feel good.
See, here's one of the problems. That would make it not an altruistic
Yes.
thing.
Correct.
Sure.
You've done
Right.
it for your benefit, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad reason
Right.
at all.
I'll quit doing it then.
Yeah.
You guys just lost out. You can blame Mr.
Can we get
McCall.
this? Can we get this submitter's information, please?
Well, I'm done doing this.
That's actually good that you brought it up, because that's
That's
to the
hilarious.
point, is that
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
But it does. It makes me feel good. I'm not doing it because I want your respect. I'm doing
Right.
it because it makes me feel good
Right.
to give, share the love of the Emac truth.
Yeah, and that's why this question isn't just as simple as
Right.
Yeah, they can do it, because there are so many reasons that aren't just public recognition
Right.
that somebody could be doing something for. But I still think it's possible to do something kind or good just for the sake of it being a good thing to do.
I don't know. I think the only way that that's possible is if you do it without even knowing it. If Eric drops a disc, doesn't realize it, some kid picks it up, gets hooked on disc golf, wins a world championship, that's the moment that turned his life around.
Paul Macbeth.
Yeah, I didn't want to put his name out there.
By the way, can I get a cut of that contract?
If Eric doesn't know that he just changed
Supposed
this person's life and drastically improved it,
Do
then
you
sure,
realize how many discs I've lost on a course and people thought I placed it there?
Yeah, probably a lot.
6.
However many discs I lose. yeah.
A lot.
I think
that's a fair point that
I
he
think
brings
if-
up.
I totally understand.
I think if you knowingly, like you said, the example with Eric just giving me a disc because, oh, I lost it, here, I have an extra.
Right.
He does it, like he said, it makes him feel good. So that is a personal benefit.
Sure.
If, people go to Starbucks and they say, oh, I'll pay for the car behind me. They do that because it makes them feel good, not because, why not? I'll spend an extra $6 on my cup of coffee.
Okay. I hear what you're
Expensive
saying.
Cup of coffee.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's
I
very big.
definitely hear what you're saying, and I think for a lot of people that probably is the case, that you do good things so that either you are recognized for it or you feel good. But I feel like, and this is, I shouldn't use the word feel. I think that it has to exist where you don't have something, I have something. I give it to you, and it's not an emotional transaction. It's just now you have your needs fulfilled. Maybe the requirement would be that of the person doing the giving, you can't be as emotionally invested in that thing. Maybe it's just like, I see someone in need, I do it, and then I'm on with my day. Maybe being super busy makes you not worry about it as much. But
So I should start giving away gatekeepers.
you should. You should. And then you wouldn't be emotionally invested in it at all. I'm a pretty like skeptical. It maybe isn't the right word, but I'm pretty realistic. I try to keep my feet on the ground and my head out of the clouds when it comes to stuff like this. But I don't know, optimist in me would have to hope that people would do things just because they're, at least sometimes, just because they're the right thing to do, not because it gives something back to them.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at on it. It's hard to point out an example without that's the difficulty, without pointing back to some way that it could affect them positively.
Right. It's almost as if it's almost, I mean, that goes back to the actual hot take is true.
Right.
The definition of altruistic doesn't exist. In other words, it's,
altruism,
yeah, the word itself cannot be.
See, but the problem is it comes down to somebody's intentions, right? Eric could give a disc to Anthony and to make him feel,
Thanks,
to make
dude.
Eric feel good. Or he could
welcome.
give a disc to Anthony because he knows it's a bad disc and he wants Anthony to fail.
What the heck?
Sorry.
Ha! Or he could give a
Gatekeepers.
disc to Anthony just because he wants to get rid of something. He's overstocked. These are the same actions with totally different intentions. So your intention is everything, and without being in somebody's mind, I just think you can't verifiably say you did that for no reason but it was the right thing to do. I feel like that has to still exist as an option. If you can't prove that it's not that, I think it has to exist as an option.
So yeah, so it's just it's on you, the person doing the act, and your intentions.
Yes.
And then how you go forward with it, whether
Right.
you're looking for attention or not or whatnot.
Exactly.
So
And probably the less you post about it on social media, the more likely it is to be altruistic.
1 or 2 posts, I think we're okay.
Hey, just a story post. It's only there for 24 hours.
just 24 hours,
Hey,
yeah.
it's only 24 hours. Yeah.
So
But the moral of the story is give Anthony all your EMAC troops.
apparently,
Yeah.
apparently that's the deal.
Apparently, I'm going to lose one soon. So.
Yeah, so-
Sorry, bro.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning into our hot takes. Hopefully, you enjoy it. Let us know your thoughts. We'll probably post this on Facebook, the Facebook group for Disc Golf Answer Man. So let us know your thoughts on both hot takes in the comments. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.